Well, we should, of course, get to the other big news, which you announced yesterday, this joint venture with Warner Brothers Discovery and with Fox to create new streaming skinny bundle of your linear sports assets. Why does it make sense to do this? Are you at all concerned that this could drive accelerated cord cutting or even challenge and cannibalize your Hulu with live TV business?
Look, I think if you're a sports fan, if you're a sports league, if you're an advertiser, even if you're a distributor, you want to engage with ESPN in some form. ESPN has always made a promise to sports fans that it will serve them wherever they are, whenever they want. This is clear, and they've done a great job doing that. I think one of the secrets to their success, not a secret, is that they serve the sports fan so well. This is a big step in that direction, to serve the sports fan that has not signed up for the multi-channel linear TV, or that maybe was disenfranchised and didn't want it. This is a way to do that. We've watched for years the decline of basically the linear bundle on cable and satellite. And we've been preparing for a world where that business is not as strong as it used to be. Launching Disney Plus is an example of that, the investments we've made in content, the Fox acquisition, what that did in terms of our ownership of Hulu. All of these things are prepared for us to pivot as well as the world changes, as the world is disrupted. And by the way, I'd rather be a disruptor than to be disrupted. The linear business is still a business that serves us well in that it's profitable for us, and we intend to continue to be in it. We're investing in it in terms of the channels that we own, running them more efficiently, but we're still in that business. But we also have to be mindful of where the consumer is now and where the consumer is going.
But if this product is priced, say, between $40 and $50, isn't there a risk that not only it would drive accelerated cord cutting, but also put you into more conflict with the pay TV operators like Charter, who are already concerned that you were taking ESPN direct to consumer?
I've not discussed this with any of those operators. I think they probably, in many ways, either would understand or should understand that what we're creating here is a distribution mechanism to reach consumers, where they are today, basically app-based entertainment. I think this was a step that we felt was one that we not only wanted to take, but that one that we really should take, given what we know sports fans want and given what we see with the current multi-channel ecosystem.
How does this impact your plans to bring ESPN Plus, to bring ESPN flagship direct to consumer as an alternative to ESPN Plus, but bring your traditional linear flagship direct to consumer, which you have told me was going to happen before the end of 2025? How does this impact that, and how does this all impact your negotiations with those pay TV operators?
Well, I can tell you that our plan now is to bring so-called flagship to the market probably in the fall, maybe as early as late August of 2025. We're going to do that. It is a different product. It's singular in that it is ESPN. It will have many more features and provide a much more immersive experience for the sports fan than this bundle has. This bundle is really a channel bundle that I think will be very user-friendly because it's more app-based. But ESPN flagship, or whatever, I guess we'll just call it ESPN, will have features like integrated betting, fantasy, much more personalization, customization, probably some shopping in some form, much deeper in statistics and those sorts of things, kind of the sports lover's delight. And it will live on its own and side by side with what we just announced. We've been saying for a while that we're looking for partners for ESPN to help us take ESPN in a direct-to-consumer business. What we announced yesterday is with two partners that are helping to do that in one way, bundled with their services, and what we'll do when we launch ESPN, where we will continue to look for partners, and we've been engaged in some good discussions with some possible partners, is another step in the direction of just reaching the consumer in more ways, going where the consumer is and giving what the consumer wants.